Okay, so we're in. All right. What's up, Schwartz Force? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, it's our second live stream. So I just want to thank all of you guys and gals for joining us today. I have a very special guest with us, as you can see in the title. This is Martin, the owner and starter of StrapsCo, great strap company. So without further ado, Martin, you want to just kind of tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks a lot for having me. Appreciate that. It's my first ever YouTube experience, so pretty cool. So yeah, I'm Martin, owner of StrapsCo, along with my wife, Alicia. We've been doing this for about 10 years. We also got my brother-in-law, Josh, who's part of the business, so it's a bit of a family thing going on here.
All right.
And yeah, I've been watch enthusiast for quite a long time, and we love what we do.
Love it, man. That's it's so cool because I know like having a family company, like you're saying, you and your wife and then your brother, like everyone involved, very cool. And then how many, so as far as like employees, how many total would you say?
We have about a dozen employees.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah. And you guys are based up in Canada.
Yeah, our head office here is in Montreal, Canada, and we do most of our shipping out of the States, but yeah, we're all located in here in Montreal. I'm in my office right now. Everyone's at home.
That's so cool. Yeah. And you're already getting some love. So Average Joe, he just put, he loves your straps, quality stuff. Yeah. We got P. Ross, so he's just doing a little shout out. And then Ted over at Ted's Cornish Watch Reviews. So you're already getting the love here, man, which is great.
Appreciate the love, man. Feels great. Thank you guys.
So cool. So yeah, let me just go ahead and see. Now, one of the things with your strap company, because we just recently kind of crossed paths, and this is like a good point, I guess, to segue into the fact that we are in the process, and this is an announcement for you guys, so the Schwartz Force out there, StrapsCo and myself are in the process of doing a kind of ambassador program. So I'm going to be working with Martin and his team and hopefully get some nice collaborations going for you guys. And it's like in the we're still in the baby phase, you know what I mean? But I'm super excited, man.
Same here, man. It's been cool. Like we're just getting started, obviously, and like I was like pretty active on Instagram like 5 years ago or so, and then life got hectic and had a baby, and totally lost, stopped doing any Instagram stuff, and like about a few months ago, we got a new bookkeeper, Haley, and we didn't have full-time bookkeeping work, so we're like, okay, we got to find another gig for her here, and I'm like, okay, let's get back into social media, all that stuff, and somehow she got in touch with Miguel from SoCal Watch Reviews, and he hooked us up with you and Ross Wristwatch Love, Time Sneakers and Watches, and a bunch of other people, and so we're like, okay, let's try and do a little collaboration here, and we'll call it our ambassador program, and yeah, it's been super cool.
I'm really I'm looking forward to just kind of some ideas that we're going to come up with, and I think all of the people like viewing and that have done any type of promoting, like, no, social media is just, it's a lot to maintain and stay on top of. So that's really cool that you're willing to try something new, and I think it's going to be awesome. So
yeah, it's so far it's great. I mean, been a lot of YouTube videos, and definitely when I check out my Instagram, there's like tons of shout outs, tons of comments, whereas like 6 months ago is like fraction of what was going on now. So super cool to see.
Yeah, that's one of those things that like I do more with YouTube, and I don't mess with Facebook. I don't do any of, like Instagram I try. Like, there'll be some times where I'm like staying on top of it, and then days or a week will go by and I just haven't posted. So yeah, it's that's my challenge I'm dealing with.
Yeah, you kind of got to focus on one or the other. There's just too much going on, staying on top of each one.
For sure. So I was going to ask too, like, kind of taking a step back with your company, like, so what made you decide to do straps? Like, out of everything, like, how did that come up?
It's just super random. I had this Breitling Navi Timer World back in the day, which I actually still have today. and I got a ridiculous deal on it on eBay, like super ridiculous. It was an auction. It was from like a super reputable seller, and it was like super early in the auction, and I just hit them up and said, do you have a buy it now price? They didn't have one listed.
Okay.
And they said like $1,500, and this is a Navi Timer World, it was like 15 years ago or something. Anyways, I'm like, okay, I bought that right off the bat, and then I was like, it came with a brown alligator strap, a real alligator strap, but it was super worn out. So I'm like, back on eBay looking for some straps, and then like, okay, Breitling straps cost like $300 plus. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean?
Dang, man, for a strap, yeah.
So that just got the wheels turning. Started going online looking for suppliers, and I got lucky. I found this really cool supplier that I didn't have to order like a huge quantity of each style. I could order these kind of smaller batches and have still have a large range and a large selection, without having to make a huge investment, and that worked out well. I don't work with that supplier anymore, but that was kind of the jump off right there.
Okay, so that's what got it rolling. Yeah. And that's the thing, like so many of watch enthusiasts I think can relate to, as far as like either you buy a watch used and you want to upgrade the strap, or you're just kind of wanting to change up the look of it, and then you see how some of those like straps can be really expensive. And I love that you guys have just a plethora of options, your website. And I was looking like in the chat, and Ted put he'd love to see some branding on the stainless steel bracelet strap. So I know like there's just so many options, because you guys do it all. You do leathers and all.
I've always wondered about branding wise, like, do people really want to see the strap company branding like on the outside of the buckle, or on or that type, or on the clasp or whatever? Do they really want to see that, or do they prefer to kind of keep it low key and whatever? That's interesting comment.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool, man. So I just wanted to, let's just take a look at the. Oh yeah, we got beer and watches. Also, Haley's in the chat from what the guys were saying. So nice. Yeah, welcome everyone. Pretty cool. So I love that you guys work with so many different content creators and influencers and sending stuff out there, because it lets like people see firsthand. Because like I said, you guys have so much that hey, what about that vintage leather, or what about that beads of rice bracelet? So people all pick different things, and it allows customers to see like reviews, what we think of it, and share the love. So yeah, even Average Joe just mentioned that too about the beads of rice. So yeah,
beads of rice is it's a hot bracelet. We have a new one we're working on now, which is more of like a vintage style beads of rice, which super excited about that. So that should be coming down the pipe shortly.
Right on. Well, I want to like ask, so because I'm sure we got a few more viewers in the chat now, so let's do a quick wristwatch check, and then we'll jump into your watch journey. So what do you got on for us?
I got same watch I was wearing last time, Speedmaster Professional here. I got it last summer, and I don't think I've worn another watch since, to be honest.
It's getting all the love.
Yeah, man.
I mean, for good reason, right? Like just classic, iconic watch. So congrats on that, man. What
about you?
It's on my list of one day, I'd like to pick one up. I'm actually doing, and I'm terrible at this. So this is the Vice FM201. So this is the homage of the Tangente from Nomos, and I have it on your guys' strap. So I'm representing. Got that light blue.
Yeah, I was going to say that strap does look familiar.
It's suede. I love the contrast stitching with it. So, I'm playing with a lot of blues today. So yeah.
Yeah. Looks great. I got this watch last summer. Before, this is 42 millimeters. Before that, I had my Navi Timer World, which I've had for years, and that's 46 millimeters. And I have a bunch of Seikos, and they're all kind of larger watches, I guess. In past 10 years, the trend has been larger watches, and then now it's obviously gone the other direction. So now, since I've got this watch, all my other watches, or most of my other watches, are all bigger, and they don't feel right on the wrist anymore.
That's interesting how tastes change, and then of course there's fashion changes. Obviously, it's cyclical. And that's why I'm always like, let me just hang on to this. It'll come back. Like we'll go
Yeah.
full circle in 10 or 20 years. But do you know your wrist size by chance? Like, do you know what?
I don't
Okay.
know what it would measure. I
Okay.
probably have,
Okay.
but no, I don't really know. But it's
Yeah.
weird. Like now you see like Rolex coming through with the bigger case sizes only now, whereas like kind of going, you know, they're a little late on that, I find. But anyways,
Yeah. And they'll still be loved for it regardless, right? But they got
100%.
that following, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like I've noticed reviewing so many different types of watches that like it's almost more about less the diameter, but more the lug to lug height. Because there's some watches I have that they'll be a relatively small, 42, 40 mil or whatever, but it has this really tall lug design,
Yeah,
and it can overhang if you have a smaller
definitely.
wrist. So
Definitely.
yeah, it's funny how that little things like that play a role. But
Yeah, that's complicated because like I like to get good deals on stuff. Whenever I'm watch shopping, I always start on eBay, and so it's hard to make those decisions without putting on your wrist. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, and I know you mentioned like the Breitling, the Navi timer, and then so you've kind of have you always gone for heavy hitters, or did you have other watches when you were younger? Like, how did it all start?
It's well, I'm embarrassed. I guess I'll tell you. My first watch was, well, wouldn't say my first watch, but my first like watch as an adult is a bit of an embarrassing one. It was like early 2000s. Back in like the kind of hip hop bling bling era, and I was going to the bars and hanging out with my friends all the time,
Sure.
that stuff type of thing. And I had a friend who he had a quorum bubble. I don't know if you know what that is, but
yeah.
And it was an iced out quorum bubble. Anyway, he upgraded to some other watch, so I ended up taking that from him, buying it off him, and it's actually my second watch, which is the more embarrassing one. Was Jacob the Jeweler, that 5 time zone iced out one. Do you know that watch?
I haven't, but I can only imagine.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So did you always go for like louder, bigger?
Yeah, I guess so. Honestly, those are the main, like, besides the ones we just talked about, I haven't really had any other real heavy hitters. I have a bunch of Seikos. Yeah, I have quite a few Seikos, and I have another Quorum which I really like, Quorum Admiral's Cup.
I'll have to look that one up.
But yeah, I guess I've always been, when I first got into it, it was somewhat of a status symbol thing when I was younger. Now it's not as much that way.
It's everyone's journey, and this is why I always like hearing these stories, because there's all different paths that we go right to get to where we're at, and like we were just saying, like your taste changes. Like you probably wouldn't go for those same watches now, right?
Not at all.
But the thing
now
is,
I'm
like,
totally more of like a classic look. Something that's a
little more timeless or conservative, maybe in design. So and that's one of the things that I like, and I've shared this with others too, is that like you kind of have to go down these things that you maybe are embarrassed to admit or regret, but like that's how you discover what you like and don't like, and you end up coming across these things you love, and that's what stays in the collection, right? So
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just like anything, whatever clothes you wore 10, 20 years ago, or car you were into, it's not going to be the same as it is today. So
right, let's hope not. It's so funny, man. So well, thanks for sharing kind of your story and the watches you've come across, and now what you have in your collection, which is great, man. So I don't know, like I'm curious, like, do you have, because you have some knowledge about the watch lifestyle, what, like, do you have questions that you would have for either like content creators like myself or other watch enthusiasts?
I guess, I mean, I'm starting to like ponder the possibility of doing some sort of a watch line, not under the StrapsCo brand, but doing a watch company of some sort. So I guess do you have any, what are your thoughts on ideas for like a new micro brand? Do you have any ideas on things, something that's missing from the market, or suggestions, like super early into stages. I'm like thinking, okay, in the next year, that might be something to think about doing, some kind of like gathering ideas and
Okay.
seeing if that's something that might be a possibility.
That's super awesome. So that you're pondering that, kind of going the micro brand route. And this is good for the people in the comments. So guys and gals, like definitely throw your feedback for Martin, like what you do and don't like about micro brands, because I know, like, here's what I don't like is I don't like the just slapping a pre-made design that's coming from a catalog overseas or something and then putting your brand on it. And I've seen this with other, I don't want to name names, but I saw, like, I had this huge falling out with this one company that was coming after me, like on Instagram, because they had this watch they were launching. I loved it. I'm a big fan of Blancpain. So like they had this one watch that it was a great homage, and I joined the Kickstarter, did the funding thing, all that. And then come to find out, people in the comments were like, hey, this looks like this other brand of watch, and put the model number. And I started looking into it. I'm like, oh, this is exactly the same thing. So that's weird. So definitely I would say, in my opinion, like, don't do the easy thing. Like, I think coming up with your own design, and like we've seen with your straps, like you have a ton of, obviously, like, just, I would say, expertise with design features and elements of keeping a pulse on what's kind of hot and in. But that's what I don't like about micro brands. But I mean, I'm a sucker for automatic movements, but I also can appreciate a good quality quartz movement too. But let me see what we're getting in our comments here too, because I know Ted was saying, so just to kind of share this, what he dislikes about micro brands is resale value being terrible.
Yeah.
So I think, pricing is probably going to be a factor too. And some of that might have to do with, like, are you going to make 250? Are you going to make 2,500? You know what I mean? Like, that's probably going to be a factor as well.
Have you ever backed a Kickstarter campaign for a watch?
That was so the one I was talking about, after I saw that, I backed out. I was like, let me change my mind, because like I couldn't, the fact that they weren't addressing it and so many people were like shouting it, like, hey. I
mean, what are you going to do? You got caught red-handed. It's hard to talk your way out of that one,
Yeah. So that was kind of an awkward experience, but just be real, with your customers. Like, if they like the watch, they're going to buy the watch. Like, there's no need to make it seem like it's something it's not, micro brands too. Like, there's different tiers, I would say. Like, you have your micro brands that are 200 to 350, let's say, and then you have your higher tier 400 to 600, and then even up into the $700 and $1,000 range, right? So I think it just kind of depends, but I would say go for all of the top spec materials. I know, like, Beer and Watches, he's saying, like, new brand exhibition caseback, quick change straps, sapphire packaging. So getting everything right. Like, we can even look at Seiko, for example, right? Beloved brand, but they'll put hardlex crystal instead of sapphire. They'll do folded links instead of solid, or stamped class instead of milled. So that's what I think a lot of guys like us and gals like in a micro brand, is that getting it all right from the start is.
Do you have any micro watch brands that you think are like doing like a super good job and that you want to, like, give a shout out to? And
so I know Notice is a really big popular one.
Yeah.
I've heard Helm makes really good dive watch. I haven't had any. And the problem is, like, some of these I haven't had in my hand.
You can't. I mean, exactly. You can't touch and feel every single one.
I did get a Second Hour, which is a company out of Australia. The Gin Clear Diver was really nice. It was a prototype, so it wasn't exact to the production model, but they were just really well made. Had a Swiss Salida movement in it, but really cool. So I know some of the other, like, feedback I'm getting here too is so Beer and Watches, Matt says no Rolex, and try to do better than the standard Seiko NH35. It's a workhorse, we get it. But I think people they're wanting something else. And let's see, so we got CW. Let me see.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Christopher Ward's.
Yeah, good stuff. And I think it just kind of, like, is going to depend on what price range you want to be in, right? Like,
yeah.
And I think that's why the NH35 is, this is just my opinion, right? I think that you get that movement in some $60, $100 watches. So to use the same movement and then be charging 300, 350, I think that there's a point at which you want to go probably into something better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on going the Kickstarter route? Do you think that's a good way to go about for a new micro watch brand, or?
Man, you're asking me. I like the Kickstarter route in terms of when I know about it at the start. I hate finding out about it after the fact, because then you're like, like I could have been in it. But I think that it's just probably safer in terms of crowdfunding the income part of it, and having those kind of set for
having those pre-sales and
So I think it's popular for that reason with micro brands. But yeah, that's just something that you'll have to talk to probably other owners of micro brands and find out, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, let me look. And I feel so bad for you guys. Y'all are like dropping all these comments, and then I'm trying to like stay on top of it. But I know that let's see, micro brands. Yeah. So even Ken mentioned he has a notice. So yeah, it seems like a lot of the micro brands that are popular are getting a lot of love for good reasons. I know Stalingrad. So we got a whole bunch of different ones. Who put this? Haley put Feist. Is that even a micro brand? I don't think so. They're pretty. I think they're mass produced Chinese watches, but I love them. I know not everyone's a fan, but I am. Like I love homage watches, so I'm a sucker for homages. But yeah, Kickstarter 100% if you can deliver. And that's something that I know. So I just recently on my channel reviewed a watch from Filippo Loretti, and they were like a super successful Kickstarter campaign. I don't remember how many millions, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's been some big watch companies and that have started off on Kickstarter. So I don't know if it's, still has the same reach and potential that it, had when, some years ago, but definitely some big companies came out of there.
Yeah, and I think for them, what they struggled with, because it was so popular and blew up so quickly, and this happens with all different companies, is being able to create the, to hit the demand, and not having crazy wait times and stuff like that. So I think that maybe having a set number too is a good idea of
good point.
How many watches you're going to make. So pretty cool, man. Thanks for the question, and thanks to all the viewers for the feedback and chiming in on that too.
I'm going to check this in more detail after.
Yeah. And I know, so one of the things I put here, because I wanted to bring it up. So before I forget, I'm just going to go ahead and mention it. So I was watching Average Joe's video where he was reviewing some of your straps from StrapsCo, and he picked a couple of the silicone straps. And I know this is something we had discussed initially. So I wanted you to kind of touch a little bit more on it, because the silicone rubber straps where they it'll either attract dust and hair, and just that's just the nature of the beast, so to speak. But you got something cool coming out, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I love silicone straps. They're great. Some are better than others. Like if it's a crappy silicone, it's going to attract tons of lint and dust, and it's just going to look kind of dirty all the time. But we're coming out with a new line of FKM rubber straps. So FKM rubber is just it's a higher quality rubber, and you'll see a lot of I guess it's the same type of rubber that you'd see, a Rolex Oysterflex strap would be made out of FKM rubber, or if you'll see a high-end Swiss watch brand, if it's coming with a rubber strap, it's most likely going to be an FKM rubber strap, and it's just super high quality, doesn't attract dust or lint at all. And it feels amazing on a wrist. And most of the time they'll be kind of they'll have a curve kind of built into it. So it'll feel super comfortable and on your wrist right off the bat. You don't have to break it in or anything. It's just,
that's cool.
Really nice. So I'm super excited about those. We have a bunch of different models coming through.
Really? How soon do you think those might hit your online
I think it's probably going to be in January. I think we're going to be pretty busy for the rest of the holidays. We have some other cool stuff coming, but I think for those, it's probably going to be in January. Yeah.
Okay. We'll be ready. That'd be a great way to ring in the new year. And I'm sure, I know I'm going to have my eye out for one, because yeah, it sounds like a really good alternative, and of course higher quality because, and like me, like I don't mind throwing a more expensive strap on a cheaper watch. Like I have this,
Same here.
it's like a Cartier Homage. I paid like $20 for it, and I bought an aftermarket strap, and it fits it, but it was like 70 some bucks for the strap and clasp combo, and I'm like, hey, but it looks good, you know? So
you got the strap costing more than a watch. That's hilarious.
Sometimes that's just how it is, you know?
Yeah.
Well, and I know like with holidays coming up, are you guys gonna have any like promotions or anything else kind of special planned going on?
Yeah, so we have our Black Friday preview sale going on right now. So
okay,
that's 10% off all orders, or 20% off orders of $50 or more, and 30% off orders that are $100 or more. And we still have our buy two get one free, which applies for that promo, and free shipping as well.
And that's everything that's on your site.
That's live right now. And Black Friday and Cyber Weekend, we're probably gonna switch it up and do a little bit of a different promo. Cool. So that should be cool also.
All right. Well, I'll stay tuned, and I'll make sure I shout it out for the guys and gals out there too, because yeah, man, it's like anytime you can save and get a couple straps with buy two get one free, it's awesome. And the fact you have it for your entire site is really cool. So I know like that was going to be one of my questions, because when I was looking at some straps to kind of pick, I noticed that there's a different brand, or there's a different, like it says Dasari leather.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more. What's up with that?
So Dasari it's basically our higher end leather brand, and we've had that brand for almost since the beginning. And it's basically, we work with one specific supplier for that brand, and they've been producing watch straps for like almost 50 years, and they do straps for a lot of Swiss brands and a lot of high-end Swiss watch brands. So they just really nice leathers, really nice craftsmanship, and we just decided to use a different brand for that higher end product.
Okay.
And and our FKM rubber straps will be actually under this Dasari brand, so that's going to be our kind of first non-leather Dasari product.
Wow. All right.
And we have a couple other cool Dasari things coming, some watch storage stuff, and watch cases and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that was one thing I was like, are you guys selling for someone else, or is this still you guys? Like, so that was cool.
Some people found it confusing, but I guess a lot of people who have like discovered it kind of appreciate it and become loyal to it. And we see a lot of people like super excited when new Dasari stuff comes down.
Yeah, I did pick one of the Dasari, the Rally strap, and I gotta say, like, the quality is noticeably well made. Like, definitely the padding on the leather and everything is just really good. So, and the cool thing is having your straps from you guys is over time, because I wear so many different watches all the time, that those straps are going to get swapped out. So I'll be able to see like how they hold up, how they break in, and share that with everyone out there. And I do that with everything, watches, watch winders. Like, to me, like, that's part of the thing with being, I guess, a content creator, is like not just the initial review or unboxing, but then sharing it with people to see long term or short term, like how is it holding up. So
for sure,
it's really cool. Yeah. All right. So Dasari is some good stuff. So it's like Lexus and Toyota, right? Like,
exactly.
That's awesome. Well, I definitely I was going to say like the different, I guess, like lineup of what you guys have online, like your inventory has gotten to the point where like, I like your OEM replacements. But like, do y'all have a certain stuff that you think will be coming up as well, other than the FKM rubber, or any?
Definitely.
Else
this is an interesting project we got going on here. So this is Seiko Turtle here, and this is like a prototype strap. So it's try to get the camera.
Okay.
So integrated strap for Seiko Turtle. So it's no gap at the lugs here, and
it's like made specifically for that.
Yeah, so it's only going to fit Seiko Turtle. So this was like one of my favorite watches for a point in time. I had a bunch of different turtles, so I was like, okay, And I know it's a popular, it's a super popular Seiko. So this will be coming out pretty soon. And what's cool, it has the quick release spring bars. So usually you won't see, integrated straps with quick release spring bars. So that's cool. We have a big collection of watch winders and other watch storage stuff coming out, hopefully in the next couple of weeks in time for the holidays. So that's super exciting.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have some late nights at the office getting all that ready.
Yeah, and people like Seiko's definitely huge market. People love Seiko's. And I actually only own one, and there's others that I have my eye on. So I always get flack for not having the SKX, 007. So I'm always getting crucified for that.
You had a Seiko Presage though, right?
I did, yeah, and that's the Fuyugashiki. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but it's the snowflake dial because I'm not able to get the Grand Seiko yet. Which someday that would be awesome to get a snowflake, but with the titanium case and all that. But for now, the Fuyu will have to scratch the itch, which
I love that watch. I have that watch with the blue snowflake dial, and it's like I love that watch. I don't wear it that much because it's a little bit on the formal side. So if I have something I'm dressing up for or whatever, I'll wear it then. But it's like the dial is sick. Love that watch.
Yeah. The Presage series, they make some cool stuff. So I'm starting to become I get it. I'm getting there, guys. So, nice. And then Fit Outpost, another fellow YouTuber. So he was asking, did you bring any samples of the new product? So I know you were just showing the one with the Seiko turtle. Anything else cool you got nearby or?
I got a bunch of random stuff here, but nothing too exciting. I got let me see if I can pull something out.
Walk off, no biggie. And I appreciate you guys in the comments, like throwing everything. It's kind of challenging, I would say, with the system I'm using, because it's like I want to read all the comments, but I'm also listening to Martin, so I'm like trying to juggle things around. So thanks for your patience.
This is one of our winders we have coming.
Nice. So that's a four winder. It looks like a piano gloss finish on that box too.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, very cool.
We got a bunch of those, like a bunch of 2 watch winders, 4 watch winders. I think some 8 watch winders, maybe even.
Oh dang,
and we have some different storage cases coming. A bunch of new watch tools. So a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah.
And I was going to say the 8 watch winder, it's still not enough. Like we need more. We need more, Martin. Come on. Like I need like a 40 winder, like
you need a whole wall unit, right?
I need the drawers, like what is it? The movie Doctor Strange, where he pulls open the drawer and it's just all his luxury watches spinning in there.
I don't think I've seen that.
you need to check it out. It's every watch guy was like, pause. Let's see what we got in here. We got a JLC. We got
How many watches do you have?
I did a state of the collection. I didn't count because I don't want to know. But it's over 40. But they're not all like, I hate to say it, but I'm in the process now in my collection where I need to start thinning it out a bit, because I can now see which watches I wear all the time and which ones I wear on occasion. And then there's the few, right? The little rascals off to the side that they don't really get the love. So I think, what I'll probably do is end up selling or trading, giving away something to kind of, if I'm not wearing them and enjoying them, someone else should. So, but yeah.
Do you have,
what about you?
Me, I have probably about 10 or about 10.
10 watches?
About 10 watches.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of Seikos, and then a few other ones. But do you have like a trophy watch, or like some sort that you'd like that you have your eyes on?
So okay, you're talking about like that I do own or would want to own.
That you'd want to own.
Yeah. So, and it's so funny. My wife, like this, I got the unofficial OK someday, which is a Blancpain 50 fathoms.
Yeah.
They're like 10 grand, but when she asked, she go, "How much are they?" And I told her, and she's like, "I could see, yeah, someday." And I'm like, "Yes, all right." So I don't have to fight that hurdle anymore. We just need to get the the funds to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I've looked into like Longines. I've considered Nomos, like the kind of lower end entry level watches that aren't going to break the bank, but definitely in that luxury tier.
For
So
sure. Yeah, I
yeah.
love the 50 fathoms. Those are
Oh
beautiful.
man, it's one of my favorites. So I know Rolex, everyone they got their fans, but I got to go for the Blancpain.
Definitely. Yeah, Rolexes are amazing. I'd love to have one, but yeah, it's just too common. It's rather get something a little more low key.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And then I was going to say, because I wanted, there were some questions that I had down here in the chat. So, two questions actually about the watch winder. So Ted was saying, are the watch winders battery powered as well as main powered? And then Fit Outpost was wondering, I guess the one that you showed, how much would that actually run?
So most of them are battery and plug-in, except for the bigger ones. There's a few of the bigger models that won't work on batteries. And I think they're gonna. Let me see how much they're gonna start at here. I have a little file I've been working on.
All right.
Once.
And so watch winders are one of those things that I think people always have kind of a $30, $100, and then you realize like they're an expensive.
They're expensive.
Yeah.
They're really expensive, especially if you're going to get like a brand, like, if you ever seen like Wolf or something, like they're going to be thousands of dollars.
Right. I looked at Wolf, like thinking like maybe I can get a one in for loan or sample, and I'm like, they're probably not going to send
They're
$1,500. Yeah.
So we're going to have some like one watch winder starting at about $80, and then the one like I just showed you guys, that one's in the 200 or 250 range, depending on exactly which model, but basically going to be between like 100 and 250.
That's pretty reasonable.
So,
yeah. Especially when you can double up.
Super reasonable, compared to what else is on the market.
Yeah, and I like that. I've seen, and I'm sure you've looked at them too, where there's like different finishes, different colors or whatnot.
Exactly.
So that's nice. That sounds like a good bet. And then I always like the thing with automatics is, especially in my collection. So I'm just saying from my own personal experiences, I really would need like multiples if I wanted to keep them all wound all the time. So usually what I'll do is I'll pick a couple to put on the winder, maybe 4. And then just rotate through them in a short period of time and swap them out as needed, because there's no way I'm going to keep them all wound.
How do you store your collection?
So I have 2 storage cases. They hold 24. I had to do quick math. They hold 24 each. So it's just a simple. I got them on Amazon. They're like $40. I need to do a video on it actually, because people are always asking me like, "Hey, where'd you get that case? So I started with a little 6, box, and quickly outgrew that. And so I have 2 of those 24-piece ones, and but they're just kind of real basic. I'd like to get something really nice. Once I pare the collection down to a acceptable number, then I'd like to invest in a really nice, maybe like a safe or a winder safe combo kind of thing. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, the safe winder combos are really sweet for sure.
Yeah, I know, big money there too.
Exactly,
for a winder, but that is definitely on the list of someday. And then I had, Junior was asking, who are you? So he missed the introduction, but so for the people that have joined since we started, so this is Martin, the owner of StrapsCo, which is a company based out of Canada, and does awesome inventory. And you guys should definitely check out StrapsCo. So if you're just joining, they're running a really cool pre-Black Friday sale, and I'm going to be working with Martin and his team with kind of as an ambassador program, as well as some other YouTube influencers out there. I don't want to steal their thunder, their party, but you'll see more coming up in the future as well too. So
cool.
It's awesome. Yeah, man. And that's the how do you store? Because you said you had 10, so I would kind of going back to that. Like, how do you store your watch? Are you using your own products? Or?
I don't store them properly, honestly. Now that I have all this new watch storage stuff, I'm gonna have to do a better job. But like in my office, I'll have like 3 over there and like 4 in another corner, and then at home I'll have a couple in the sock drawer. So I'm not doing a good job on my storage right now.
Yeah, so I'll be honest because I talked about the cases when you asked me. Like my wife is probably listening in the other room and like, stop lying. So I try to keep them in their box, but they are just all over the
They're all
place.
over
Like,
the
yeah, they're on the island in the kitchen. They're upstairs in my little, studio office. They're just everywhere.
Yeah, so just in my office because I'm always trying different straps on different watches. So I'm like, honestly, one watch will go missing for a few weeks, and then it'll turn up, and it's a mess.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the point where I'm keeping them in my cars or like leaving them at friends' houses and stuff. So, but yeah, it's a problem. And then Junior over here was saying he purchased a super engineer
Nice.
from you guys, so that's good to see. Yeah,
Thank you.
pretty cool. So, what is your favorite strap out of your like what you have in your inventory? You have a ton. So, like, what are your favorites right now?
That's a good question. So
Right?
I just put on the Saffiano leather strap, which is like one of our newest releases. I really like it.
Yeah.
So this right here is one of my new favorites.
Let me ask you about that real quick. So the Saffiano leather, like what is, because it almost looks like it has like a texture or a pattern on it. Like what?
Yeah.
So what is it? Like what's the detail on that?
Well, Saffiano leather, it's a leather you'll like often see in like higher end like Italian leather goods, like women's handbags and wallets and that type of stuff. You'll see Saffiano leather used a lot for that type of stuff, and it's just like an Italian leather with this kind of texture that's it's got just a kind of texture. I don't think we can capture it on my camera necessarily, but
yeah, I'll definitely say like you guys got to check it out. I saw it. I haven't picked up any myself yet, but I saw it on your website, and it definitely looks like a very cool, like the burgundy one. I could totally see rocking that this November, December, January time of year.
Yeah,
it's perfect, especially with darker tone colors. So.
And suede, I'm loving the suede straps for sure. Then those have been super popular.
Yep.
And okay, somebody's asking
I was going to put that on there. Yeah.
So I'm from Montreal.
So Montreal, and have you always been there?
Yeah, well, actually, no. I was born in Montreal, and I moved to the West Coast to BC, to Victoria, BC, which is right next to Vancouver, and I lived there with my wife for almost 7 years, and that's actually where we got started. Mm-hmm. She was going to school. I was doing a day job, and I started this on the side while I was doing my day job, and my wife had just finished school, and then she's actually the one that kind of grinded it out for a couple of years until we established ourselves. So I was working, and she would working my day job, and she was running StrapsCo during the day. So
awesome.
And then we weren't super happy on the West Coast, and then we got StrapsCo to a decent spot, and we moved back to Montreal where all our family is and all our old friends and all that stuff.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It's funny because there's a lot of, and Matt Johnson, so Beer and Watches, he said he's in British Columbia, and there's so many YouTubers that I've like got to meet and interact with that are in Canada, as well as around the world. But it's like, it's really cool. Like, just seeing all the different, cause you guys are a big country too, like, and seeing all the different areas that everyone's located in it's really cool. So
yeah, and I still got tons of love for BC. I still visit there like once or twice a year, and got one of my best friends who lives out there, and it's a beautiful spot. Love BC.
I gotta visit America's Hat someday. So that's what we call Canada here, haha. But I would definitely love to check it out, probably in the summer when the weather is the best. Like
Montreal is a great spot to visit. Great nightlife, great festivals, and just amazing restaurants, like great energy in the air. The downtown's like super lively, really,
cool.
really
it's popping. Yeah, right on. So that sounds like somewhere I'd want to be and hang out and check out. So it'll be on my list.
If if you ever
places to
decide to
go.
come
Yeah.
down, I'd love to show you around.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll make it happen. I'm sure. Just a matter of time. Yeah, once things pass. Yeah,
Yeah,
things
exactly.
things we won't mention. But yeah. And then I was gonna see. So kind of looking at the chat. So Average Joe was asking like, how do you print on the leather without it wearing off? What's the process to do it successfully? Which I actually am curious too. So these questions I'm seeing are like, I've had as well.
I don't know that. Like, what do you mean by print on the leather?
Yeah, so I'll see if he can respond to that. So
Yeah.
I guess to clarify, like, do you mean embossing into the leather, like with the StrapsCo, or printing like on the actual leather itself? Okay, here he said. So like the
Oh, like
camouflage.
a camo.
Okay.
Usually it's like for right now, I think we only have the camo on like a kind of nubuck leather, and that one is I think it's dyed on, but honestly, we don't do that part. We buy the nubuck leather gets purchased already printed.
Okay.
And I guess to be honest, I don't know exactly how
Yeah.
to print it on.
So that's some of those things where you're ordering them already like with this. I guess how it's dyed or done is already like
I'll
that.
see I'll see the fabric sample. I guess if it looks good, we'll produce it. But I guess we don't ask. I guess I never asked exactly how that camera was printed on, but that's something I'll have to check. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because it's kind of like I would assume like the dyes, and I know nubuck is a little different, but like with your dyes on your other leathers, you have your veg tan or your salts and stuff that they use. So I guess that could play a role in just the longevity of it if it rubs off. And I do have one of those camo ones, so I'll be able to kind of test it out and see how it holds up over time.
Yeah,
too.
I don't think the camo is going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's in there pretty good, huh?
I think so.
It's awesome. Yeah. So I had a few other people join in, which is awesome. So yeah, if you guys have other questions for Martin, drop them down below. And we'll get them answered here. And then I know for other people watching this after the live stream, I would say, leave comments there as well, because I'm going to kind of catalog everything we didn't get to in this video and any comments that are left after, and we'll do another live stream and talk a bit more about it all. So
nice. And if anybody has any kind of straps they want to see us come out with or any cool ideas, I'd love to hear that too.
Yeah. So I actually, okay, I'm gonna be selfish here because and I think we talked on this briefly, but I wanted others to just kind of see where my thought process is too, because my glycine combat sub is a bronze case, and there's a couple different. See, the thing with bronze is, right, there's like different levels of tin or copper or metal alloy, blends, I guess you could say. But I almost never find bronze hardware on watches, like whether it's real bronze or whether it's like PVD coated or colored. So what's your experience with that? What's up with that?
Yeah, well, right now we have one bronze buckle. It's a Preview buckle, so it's a substantial big buckle. It's not it's not going to be for everybody. It's not going to suit every watch. It's going to work with a nice substantial watch, not really for a smaller watch. But for bronze in general, we've had some bronze buckles in the past, and they've been really popular. But I guess sometimes different bronzes are just going to look different. So if somebody has an older bronze watch that's started to patina and they get a new bronze buckle, it's not going to be a perfect match. So some people were just, they weren't happy that it wasn't a perfect match. And
I could see that.
But yeah, the bronze buckle we have, it's not PVD, it's solid bronze, and it's popular. I'd like to come out with a more minimal buckle in bronze, to be honest, but haven't found one yet.
Yeah, I would love it too, because I feel like that's the one thing that I always struggle with. And it even happens with gold, like as far as gold plated watches that I have, like it could be an 18 karat type of gold plated color, or it could be 14 karat. But rose gold, there's different like levels of tinting, and it's almost a bummer where you can get the perfect strap and then you put it on there, but the golds are just a little off. And it's like, I don't know what you do,
That's the thing about watches. I mean, it's all about the details. So these like tiny, minute things, are so important, especially, some people are super picky. So, something doesn't match exactly 100%, or if there's like a, a fraction of a millimeter, something that's not lining up perfectly, yeah, it's just not going to work.
Yeah. And that's like, I don't know what you do there, like what's the solution? You can't have 100 very
Exactly. You're not going to
slight,
have
like,
100 different bronze tints. It's not.
that would be, yeah, not good for your company for sure.
Yeah.
And sell very few of some and a whole lot of the other maybe, but and then like returns, like, if it's patinaed, can you accept it? Like,
Yeah.
So
Complicated.
yeah, I think maybe that's something I'll have to like do, just have someone make it, or like find a bronze worker that could figure it out and make us a buckle or something.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. If I can, if I pursue that, I will definitely do updates. So
Definitely.
yeah, but that's so cool. Well, I don't know. I mean, is there anything else that like you just wanted to touch base on, as far as I know? We talked about the watch winders. We talked about your upcoming stuff with the Seiko turtle strap, the FKM rubbers. Like,
Yeah.
I know, and I don't know if this is something we could touch on, but as far as like printing, that might be a thing that could come up, or is that still kind of on
Yeah,
the
we might be getting to some customization. So we might offer for the watch winders and watch cases. We might do, offer like initialing and personalization. So that's going to be cool. And we're like experimenting with printing on straps also. So
Yeah. Okay.
that's something we're playing around with, and we might, offer, people to like custom print their straps, and they can upload their own logos, or
Nice.
or put their initials. So that's something cool that we're playing around with.
That would be yeah, I could see that being super popular. And I
Yeah,
don't know if, I mean, I just feel like you guys are killing it already with your inventory. So to have all of those like
I know,
individual,
it's
yeah.
getting overwhelming.
No, it's a good problem. Like that's when I remember when I first talked with Haley, and she was like, yeah, pick a couple and we'll send them for review. And I was like, all right. I was looking at Amazon initially because that's just like where I go to get everything. So I'm like, oh, these are cool. And she's like, no, go to our website. And it just ruined me because I'm like, there's so many I want, like, and yeah. So that's a good problem. It just makes
Yeah.
it tough deciding what to get, first. So
What do you think about NATO straps these days? I mean, they're like, I don't know if they're as popular as they once were, but that's one, our NATO strap selection. That's one of, we don't have as many NATO straps as we might have other type of straps. So that's one thing I'm thinking about expanding.
yeah, the NATOs. So I have that one seatbelt NATO that I tested out for the glycine. And this is just something with NATOs in general. I think that there's always like, I guess the suggestion I would say is if it's possible to have more length options, because the one I
Right.
had was like just in this length that was not short but not long, and so it was like hanging just a tad out.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah,
So yeah, too long to just leave it there, but too short to tuck it back in.
yeah, and that was the thing that, I mean, unless you have options right on links, and I know you do with some of your other straps, like short, regular,
Yeah.
long. So maybe something like that would be cool to separate you from others, because especially with cheaper NATOs, they're usually just one size for all, right? And that's something that as far as colors, like what I like, this is something that might be cool to look into. That Tudor, the Black Bay, has a strap that is black with the bronze, or it's kind of like a khaki line in the middle. I don't know if that's like something that they have ownership of or that you can't get, but I've noticed that's hard to find an aftermarket that matches that Tudor.
Mhm.
And especially like maybe the parachute, I think it's like a paratrooper, the one that's kind of elastic that has the
Yeah.
hook. Something, yeah, I think
I
that would be
have
cool.
a few samples behind me that like sound like what you're talking about.
Do they? Okay, yeah.
You see here, like this. So this is kind of a Tudor style, right? These guys are.
Yes, that
kind of
is
Tudor style.
exactly. Yeah, man. Okay, so that's coming.
Yeah, and then this is like the para. How'd you call it?
I don't know if it's a paratrooper
Yeah.
type of strap. I don't own any yet, but I've had my eye on them because they're definitely kind of that military, vibe to them. And I wanted to pick some up, but that was that color that you just showed is the one thing that I find is so hard to find. And if I could find it with the size of my glycine, for example, if it tapers down, I could throw my bronze buckle from that watch on the,
nice
strap. So
yeah, I want to get some single, like the NATOs we have now are all standard NATOs. I want to get some single pass NATOs because I find I prefer when a watch sits lower on the wrist,
Okay. Yeah. So, I do too. And so Rock the Watch. So Matt was saying he thinks it's French military strap. Right, that's probably the right term. So we'll go with that. But it seems like everyone's a fan of the NATOs. Junior said he purchased a Bond NATO. It's nice, but kind of stiff. And I think that's that seatbelt material. It's a little, the weave on it is definitely thicker and tighter. So I know that they're going to last like a lot longer than the cheap ones that start to fray at the bottom, so single pass NATOs, I could see that being great. And then one thing I haven't seen on NATOs, and I don't know if this is for just the way they're designed, but what might be cool is to have a NATO that you can replace the buckle or the hardware on, to switch it from stainless steel, let's say brushed, to polished, to gold, rose gold, black PVD. So instead of buying a NATO in every color with all those metals, maybe having the hardware swappable.
Yeah, I've never seen that. That could be cool.
I think that might be something I know I would like, because for me, I have so many watches. It would be nice to not have 100 NATOs in different colors. Yeah, so that'd be cool. But yeah, colors, I mean, you can never go wrong with NATO colors. I think that's the main thing is.
Yeah, for colors, the more the merrier, honestly.
Yeah. So I know a lot of the guys, they were all screaming NATOs and got excited as soon as you brought it up. So,
okay, good.
So yeah, really cool to see. But yeah, and then so Junior Johnson was asking, is there a way to soften them up? He said he's heard you can put them in your pants pocket and wash them. You're talking about the NATOs, right, Junior? I'm assuming that's what we're on.
Honestly, I haven't tried that. I'm not the biggest NATO. Like I don't wear NATOs very often. So
okay, so maybe others in the comments.
I haven't heard that technique.
That's I'm gonna have to look into that too now, because I could see it's nylon, right? So I'm sure that if you wash it, it'll probably, with the water and the tumbling and everything, it probably would soften them up. I just wouldn't throw them in the dryer. I would probably just let them hang dry for that if you're going to test it out, is what I would say. But yeah, give it a shot. You know what? I'll test it with mine. I'll be a guinea pig. And when we come back, I'm going to make a note. When we come back, I will let everyone know what the outcome was. And if I ruined it, that way you guys don't have to do it to your own straps. That's awesome. Well, I know we're getting to our time limit here, but it flew by. We've already been chatting for an hour, Martin. So I really do appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I know all of the viewers, I'm sure, appreciate it as well. So I just wanted to, again, remind everyone, any comments or questions that you have that come to mind, either now or after the live stream, drop them down in the comments below, and we'll come back and address them in the future. But was there anything else you had on your mind?
I'm good, honestly. Thanks so much for setting this up. Super cool. Thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching. Thanks for all the comments and suggestions. Really love it and appreciate all the support so much. And yeah, man, it was fun.
All right. Yeah, I had a blast. And so I know there were some comments and stuff that might be coming in, at the tail end of this. So I'll compile everything together for you guys, for Martin. And then when we do another one, maybe we'll invite some other people in as well, and just kind of do a group stream. I think that'd be even more fun. So thanks everyone for joining, checking it out. I will look forward to seeing you all at the next one. Thanks again, Martin, for all of your time, and I'm looking forward to our kind of working together here in the future.
Same.
And y'all have a great night. All right.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.
Good night.